Part 5. The Revolution, High Arbiter. Vexnor stood in the center of the arena, his voice booming across the crowd of thousands of aliens. The humans have failed the test. They violated the sacred rules of civilization. They must die, and their dangerous ideas must die with them. But something strange was happening in the crowd. Instead of cheering for justice, many aliens were talking quietly among themselves. Some were even arguing with their own leaders. Marcus watched as Cassara, the silver-skinned scientist they had rescued, walked directly up to a group of her own species representatives. "You declared me mentally deficient," she said loudly enough for everyone to hear. "But I designed the energy systems that power half your cities. You threw me away because I questioned your policies, not because I was worthless." A tall alien with crystal skin tried to silence her. "You were examined by our best doctors. They determined you were unfit for society." "Your best doctors were wrong," Cassara replied. Then she turned to address the entire crowd. "How many others like me have you discarded? How many brilliant minds have you wasted because they didn't fit your narrow definitions?" Vorth, the former military strategist, stepped forward. "I was called a criminal for refusing to bomb civilian targets, but refusing to murder innocents doesn't make someone worthless. It makes them moral." More of the rescued individuals began, speaking up, each telling their story. The crowd grew quieter as they listened. Marcus realized this was their chance. He stepped onto a raised platform so everyone could see him. "3 days ago," he said, his voice carrying across the arena, "we found a young woman floating in space, cold and dying. We didn't ask about her caste or her social status. We didn't check her genetic records or her family history. We saw someone who needed help, so we helped her." He gestured toward Zixtha, who stood proudly beside him, no longer hiding behind his thermal blanket. "That woman turned out to be one of the most brilliant engineers I've ever met. Her people called her worthless and were sending her to die in a labor camp. But she designed technology that could benefit everyone here." Zixtha stepped forward. "For my entire life, I believed I was worthless because everyone told me I was. But these humans saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself. They showed me that my mind, my ideas, my ability to solve problems, these things have value." High Arbiter Vexnor's face grew darker. "Enough of this madness. Guards, execute the humans immediately." But when Vexnor's soldiers moved forward, something unexpected happened. Soldiers from other species stepped between them and the humans. "Wait," said a tall, blue-skinned commander from the Andorian fleet. "I want to hear more of what they have to say." "As do I," added a representative from the crystal beings. "These ideas are interesting." Vexnor looked shocked. "You would defend contaminated beings who threaten the natural order?" "What if the natural order is wrong?" the crystal being asked. "What if we have been wasting resources by throwing away valuable people?" Dr. Voss stepped forward. "That's exactly what's been happening. Look at the people we rescued today. Scientists, artists, teachers, strategists, all condemned for thinking differently. How much progress has the galaxy lost by silencing these voices?" An elderly alien from a species Marcus didn't recognize raised a tentacled hand. "In our society, we have a saying, 'The tree that grows crooked is cut down.' But what if that crooked tree bears the sweetest fruit?" "Metaphors will not change reality," Vexnor declared. "Hierarchy exists because it works. The strong lead, the weak follow. This has maintained peace for thousands of years." "Has it?" Captain Rodriguez challenged. "Or has it just maintained the power of people like you?" Marcus saw his opportunity. "Let me ask everyone here a question. How many of you have ideas that you've never shared because they went against what your leaders expected? How many of you have stayed silent when you saw something wrong because speaking up would hurt your status?" A murmur went through the crowd. Marcus could see aliens looking at each other with recognition. "The humans have a saying," Zixtha said, her voice growing stronger. The best ideas can come from anywhere. They don't just say this. They live it. They listened to my ideas, even though I was supposed to be worthless. Kesara nodded. And look what we accomplished together. We saved 50 lives by combining human creativity with my technical knowledge. Neither of us could have done it alone. This is exactly why these ideas are dangerous, Vexnor shouted. You're talking about chaos. If everyone thinks their ideas matter, if everyone believes they can question authority, society will collapse. Or, Marcus said calmly, society will improve. A new voice spoke from the crowd. It was Takar, the former teacher. I have spent my life studying different civilizations. Do you know what I have learned? The societies that advance the fastest are the ones that listen to new ideas, not the ones that suppress them. Lies, Vexnor declared. Order creates progress. Discipline creates advancement. Then why, asked Zilneth, the artist, have most of our civilizations remained unchanged for centuries? Why do we keep using the same old solutions to new problems? Marcus could see the crowd was really listening now. Even some of Vexnor's own soldiers looked thoughtful. Because, Dr. Voss said, when you only listen to people who agree with you, you stop learning. When you throw away anyone who thinks differently, you throw away your chances to grow. The crystal being who led the Council of Nine stepped forward. These are compelling arguments, but changing the fundamental structure of galactic civilization would be terrifying, Marcus suggested. Yes, it would be. Change is always scary. But staying the same when you could be better is even scarier. Zixtha walked to the center of the arena. I want to show everyone something, she said. She activated a holographic display that showed the technical specifications for her improved ship systems. This is what I designed in secret while working. As a low-caste maintenance worker, she explained. It increases energy efficiency by 40% and reduces system failures by 70%. The crowd buzzed with excitement. These were significant improvements. Now imagine, Zixtha continued, how much more I could have accomplished if my society had encouraged my ideas instead of hiding them. Imagine how much all of our societies could accomplish if we stopped wasting the potential of our people. And oh, alien engineer from the crowd shouted, could you teach us how to build these systems? Of course, Zixtha replied with a smile. Knowledge should be shared, not hoarded. High Arbiter Vexnor made one last desperate attempt to maintain control. You are all being deceived by clever words. These humans will corrupt our youth, destroy our traditions, and bring chaos to the galaxy. The only chaos, said Captain Rodriguez, is the chaos of people finally being free to use their minds. Marcus looked around at the crowd and made a decision. We're not asking anyone to abandon their cultures or their governments. We're just suggesting that you judge people by what they can do, not by what family they were born into. What exactly are you proposing? Asked the jellyfish-like judge from the Council of Nine. Marcus looked at his crew, then at Zixtha and the other rescued individuals. We're proposing a new kind of alliance, a partnership between species based on cooperation instead of hierarchy, a place where good ideas are welcomed no matter where they come from. The Galactic Cooperative, Dr. Voss added, voluntary membership, equal voice for all participants, decisions made based on merit and evidence, not birth status. Impossible, Vexnor declared. Such an organization would fall apart immediately. Without clear hierarchy, there would be chaos. Then let's find out, said the Andorian commander. My species is interested in joining this cooperative. As are we, said the crystal being. More voices joined in from across the crowd. Not everyone, but enough to matter. Vexnor looked around in growing panic as his support crumbled. You will regret this. Mark my words. This madness will destroy everything we have built. Maybe, Marcus admitted, but maybe it will build something better. The crystal judge conferred with the other members of the Council of Nine. After several minutes, She announced their decision. The Council finds that while the humans violated the letter of our test, they fulfilled its spirit in an unexpected way. They demonstrated their principles under pressure and showed us possibilities we had not considered. Therefore, another judge added, the charges against humanity are dismissed. They are free to return to their space and to pursue their ideas. Vex snores, face turned almost purple with rage. This is not over. The Keth Mori Collective will not allow this corruption to spread. But as he spoke, several Keth Mori soldiers stepped away from him. High Arbiter, one of them said respectfully. Perhaps it is time to consider new approaches. Vexnor stared at his own soldiers in disbelief, then turned and stalked away with the few supporters he had left. Marcus felt exhausted but hopeful. They had survived, but more importantly, they had planted seeds of change. Over the following weeks, representatives from dozens of species visited the horizon's edge to learn more about human ideas. The ship became an unofficial embassy for the growing galactic cooperative movement. Zixtha worked alongside human engineers, finally free, to use her full abilities. Together, they designed new technologies that would benefit all member species. Kesara established. Part 4. The Impossible Challenge. Marcus woke up to the sound of guards opening their cell door. He had barely slept, thinking about what the Council of Nine would decide. Beside him, Zixtha was already awake, her golden eyes staring at the ceiling. Today, we learn if kindness is a crime, Dr. Voss said quietly as they were led back to the Great Hall. The Council of Nine looked tired, as if they had been arguing all night. The crystal being who led them stood up to speak. After much deliberation, we have reached a decision, she announced. Her voice echoed strangely in the hall. The testimony was unusual. Some of us found merit in your arguments. Others found them dangerous to the stability of our civilizations. Marcus felt his heart beating fast. Therefore, the crystal being continued, we have decided on a compromise. You will be given one final test. If you pass this test, we will consider that your actions have merit. If you fail, the original judgment of death will stand. High Arbiter. Vexnor stood up. What manner of test? A test of principles, another judge said. This one looked like a floating jellyfish with glowing tentacles. If humans truly believe all beings have worth, we will see how they act when forced to choose. The hall around them began to change. The walls became transparent, and Marcus could see a massive arena being constructed outside the judgment station. It was like a giant maze filled with platforms, bridges, and obstacles. Behold the trial arena, the crystal judge announced. It has been used for centuries to test the character of species seeking membership in the Galactic Council. Marcus watched as the arena filled with complex machinery. There were bridges that moved, platforms that spun, and paths that seemed to lead nowhere. The test is simple, the jellyfish judge explained. You will enter the arena with your team. Inside, you will find 50 individuals from various species, all in mortal danger. The arena's systems will threaten their lives in different ways. What's the catch? Captain Rodriguez asked. He had learned not to trust simple-sounding alien. Tests. You can save a maximum of 12 individuals, another judge said. This one was tall and thin, with blue skin like Zixtha's people. The arena's rescue systems can only handle 12 people at once. Choose wisely. Marcus felt sick. You want us to choose who lives and who dies? This is how civilized beings make decisions, High Arbiter Vexnor said with satisfaction. You save the most valuable individuals, leaders, scientists, engineers, those who contribute most to society. And what happens to the others? Dr. Voss asked. They die, the crystal judge said simply. This is the natural order. The worthy survive. The unworthy perish. Zixtha stepped forward. Who are the 50 individuals in the arena? Representatives from the lowest castes of various species, the jellyfish judge replied. Criminals, outcasts, the mentally deficient, the physically disabled, the dregs of society. Marcus felt anger burning in his chest. This isn't a test. This is murder. This is reality, High Arbiter Vexnor said coldly. Resources are limited. Rescue capacity is finite. Wise leaders save those worth saving and let the worthless perish. But some of them might be valuable, Dr. Voss protested. Some might be like Zixtha, intelligent people trapped in low castes. Then choose carefully, the Crystal Judge said. You have 1 hour to study the arena and the 50 individuals. Then you enter and make your choices. The humans were taken to an observation deck where they could see the entire arena. It was enormous, filled with deadly obstacles. Spinning blades, crushing walls, pits of fire, pools of acid, everything designed to kill. Through binoculars, Marcus could see the 50 individuals scattered throughout the arena. They were all different species, but they all looked terrified. Some were injured, others were old or young, many seemed weak or sick. This is evil, Captain Rodriguez said. They're forcing us to play God. It's worse than that, Zixtha said quietly. Look at the rescue system. Marcus studied the arena's rescue mechanism. There were 12 rescue pods that could fly to different locations and carry people to safety. But the system was automated and could only be programmed once. We have to choose our 12 people before we even enter, Marcus realized. We can't change our minds once. We see them up close. How are we supposed to decide? Dr. Voss asked. We don't know anything about these people. Through the viewing screens, they could see information about each of the 50 individuals, but the information was limited and biased. Subject 23. Chronic illness, limited mobility, no useful skills. Subject 31. Criminal record, history of violence, low intelligence scores. Subject 7. Genetic defects, unable to contribute to society, burden on resources. Marcus threw down the data pad in disgust. These descriptions are useless. They're written by people who think some lives don't matter. That's the point, Zixtha said. They want you to make the same choices any civilized species would make. Save the 12 who seem most valuable and let the rest die. Lieutenant Kim, who had been studying the arena's technical systems, suddenly looked up. Marcus, look at this. She showed him a detailed schematic of the arena's control systems. The rescue pods are automated, but the obstacles aren't, she explained. The spinning blades, the moving platforms, the deadly traps, they're all controlled by a central computer system. Marcus studied the schematic. His engineer's mind began to see possibilities. Zixtha, he said urgently, you understand their technology better than we do. Is there a way to disable the deadly obstacles? Zixtha looked at the schematic carefully. Her golden eyes lit up with understanding. Yes, she said slowly. If we could access the main control node, we could reprogram the entire system. But it would require someone to reach the center of the arena while the obstacles are still active. That would be suicide, Captain Rodriguez said. Not if we work together, Marcus replied. He was beginning to form a plan. Dr. Voss caught on. You want to save everyone, don't you? Why not? Marcus said. They gave us a broken test based on broken assumptions. They assume we have to choose. But what if we don't? The rules clearly state only 12 can be saved, Zixtha pointed out. The rules say the rescue system can only handle 12 people, Marcus corrected. But what if we don't use their rescue system? For the next hour, they planned. It was dangerous and probably impossible, but it was better than choosing who deserved to die. When the time came, they were escorted to the arena entrance. Thousands of aliens from dozens of species had gathered to watch. This was apparently the most interesting trial in centuries. Remember, High Arbiter Vexnor announced, you may save 12 individuals. Choose wisely, and your species may yet have a future. The arena doors opened, and Marcus led his team inside. The noise was overwhelming. Machinery grinding, people screaming, explosions from various traps. The 50 individuals scattered throughout the arena were in terrible danger. "Stick to the plan," Marcus shouted over the noise, instead of heading toward any of the endangered individuals. The human team ran straight toward the center of the arena. This was not what anyone expected. "What are they doing?" Marcus could hear confused voices from the observation areas. Lieutenant Kim and 2 security officers fought their way through spinning blade obstacles, using their small but advanced human weapons to clear a path. Dr. Voss and Captain Rodriguez split off to create a distraction, making it look like they were heading toward some of the endangered individuals. Marcus and Zixtha pushed toward the central control node, dodging crushing walls and jumping over pits of fire. "There!" Zixtha pointed to a glowing crystal structure in the arena's center. "That's the main control node!" They reached the control system just as a massive grinding wheel nearly crushed them. Marcus held off the mechanical obstacles while Zixtha worked on the alien computer. Her fingers moved incredibly fast over the strange controls. Despite being from the lowest caste, she understood the technology better than most trained engineers. "Got it!" she shouted. Suddenly, all the deadly obstacles stopped moving. The spinning blades froze. The crushing walls retracted. The pits of fire went out. But more importantly, the barriers that had been keeping the 50 individuals trapped in dangerous areas disappeared. "Everyone move to the center!" Marcus shouted as loudly as he could. The 50 confused and frightened beings began, running toward the center of the arena. The crowd watching from above erupted in shocked voices. "This is not allowed!" High Arbiter Vexnor's voice boomed over the arena speakers. "You said we could save 12 people!" Marcus shouted back. "You didn't say we couldn't save everyone else too!" Working together, the humans helped all 50 individuals reach the arena's exit. Some were carried by the stronger ones. Others were helped by those with medical knowledge. The humans coordinated the evacuation like they had trained for it there. Whole lives. "Impossible," Marcus heard one of the judges say. "They changed the fundamental nature of the test." "They cheated," another voice complained. "No," a different voice said thoughtfully. "They redefined the problem. Within 30 minutes, all 50 individuals were safe outside the arena. The human team was the last to leave, making sure everyone else got out first." The crowd of watching aliens was completely silent. This had never happened before. High Arbiter Vexnor was waiting for them outside the arena, his face dark with anger. "You violated the rules," he declared. "You were supposed to choose." Part 3. The trial Marcus ran to the bridge with Dr. Voss right behind him. The main screen showed 3 massive ships approaching the horizon's edge. They were 10 times bigger than the human colony ship and looked like giant metal spears cutting through space. "Captain, what's our situation?" Marcus asked as he reached the command center. Captain Rodriguez pointed at the screen. "Those ships appeared out of nowhere 15 minutes ago. They're not responding to our communication attempts, but they're definitely heading straight for us." "Those are Kethmori warships," Zixtha said quietly from behind them. Everyone turned to see her standing in the doorway of the bridge, still wrapped in Marcus's thermal blanket. Dr. Voss had helped her walk from the medical bay. "You should be resting," Dr. Voss said with concern. "There is no time for rest," Zixtha replied, her golden eyes fixed on the screen. "High Arbiter Vexnor commands the lead ship. He is the most powerful military leader in the Kethmori collective. If he is here personally, it means this situation is very serious." Captain Rodriguez frowned. "How serious?" "The kind of serious where everyone dies," Zixtha said simply. Before anyone could respond, the communication system crackled to life. A deep, harsh voice spoke in the clicking language of the Kethmori. The translator worked quickly to convert it to English. "Human vessel. This is High Arbiter Vexnor of the Kethmori First Fleet. You will prepare to be boarded immediately. Any resistance will result in your complete destruction. Captain Rodriguez." looked at his crew. Options? Lieutenant Kim checked her tactical display. Their weapons are far more advanced than ours. If we fight, we lose. If we surrender, we also lose, Zixtha said sadly. High Arbiter Vexnor does not forgive contamination. What contamination? Captain Rodriguez asked. Marcus stepped forward. Captain, we rescued Zixtha from a damaged ship. But according to her people's laws, we shouldn't have touched her because she's from their lowest caste. Now they think we're contaminated. Captain Rodriguez stared at Marcus. They want to kill us because we saved someone's life? Yes, Zixtha said, and they want to kill me because I allowed it to happen. That's insane, Dr. Voss said. The communication system crackled again. You have 3 minutes to prepare for boarding or we will open fire. Captain Rodriguez made his decision. Lower our shields. Prepare to receive boarders, but keep all weapons ready. Captain, Marcus said, let me talk to this Vexnor. Maybe I can explain. No, Zixtha interrupted. If you speak to him as equals, he will be insulted. High Arbiters, only speak to other high-ranking leaders. 20 minutes later, the horizon's edge shook as the Keth Mori boarding ships attached to its hull. The airlocks opened, and dozens of alien soldiers marched into the human ship. They were tall and impressive, wearing dark armor that seemed to flow like liquid metal. Their faces were hidden behind masks, but their golden eyes glowed through. The eye slits. Behind the soldiers came High Arbiter Vexnor himself. He was taller than the others and wore robes of deep blue over his armor. When he removed his mask, Marcus saw a face that looked ancient and stern, with scars across one cheek. I am High Arbiter Vexnor, he announced in perfect English. Apparently, their translators were much better than human ones. Which of you is the leader of this vessel? Captain Rodriguez stepped forward. I am Captain Rodriguez, commander of the Horizon's Edge. Vexnor looked at Rodriguez with cold eyes. Your species has committed a grave offense against the natural order. You have touched and aided a fifth caste untouchable. You have contaminated yourselves and disrupted the cosmic balance. We saved her life, Captain Rodriguez said firmly. She was dying. Death would have been preferable, Vexnor replied without emotion. Now the contamination spreads. You must surrender the untouchable Zixtha immediately so she can face proper execution. Then your ship and crew will be cleansed through controlled destruction. Marcus felt anger rise in his chest. You're talking about murder, Vexnor's golden eyes turned to Marcus. And you are the one who first touched the untouchable. You are the source of this contamination. I gave her a blanket because she was cold, Marcus said. I carried her because she couldn't walk. I did what any decent person would do. Decent? Vexnor seemed confused by the word. You acted without knowing her caste, without understanding her place in the cosmic order. This shows dangerous ignorance. Zixtha stepped forward, still wrapped in Marcus's blanket. High Arbiter, I request to invoke the ancient trial by testimony. Every Keth Mori soldier froze. Even Vexnor looked surprised. The ancient trial? He said slowly. That law has not been used for over 1,000 years? But it still exists, Zixtha said bravely. When the accused claim their actions serve a higher purpose, they may present testimony before a council of judges. If the testimony proves worthy, the accused may live. Vexnor studied Zixtha for a long moment. You wish to defend these humans? You, an untouchable, wish to speak for beings who contaminated themselves by touching you? Yes, Zixtha said, simply. Marcus stepped next to Zixtha. And I wish to speak for myself and my people. Dr. Voss joined them. We all do. Captain Rodriguez moved to stand with his crew. If you want to put us on trial, then put us on trial. but we won't apologize for doing the right thing. Vexnor looked at the humans with something that might have been curiosity. Very well. The ancient trial by testimony is granted. You have 1 day to prepare your testimony. Tomorrow, you will speak before the Council of 9 on the judgment station. What happens if we lose? Captain Rodriguez asked. You die, Vexnor said matter-of-factly. All of you. And your species will be marked for extermination before you can spread your dangerous ideas to other worlds. The Kethmori soldiers escorted the entire human crew to the judgment station, a massive structure that appeared in space near their ships. It looked like a giant crystal floating in the darkness, with lights pulsing through its transparent walls. Inside, Marcus was amazed by the beauty of Kethmori architecture. Everything curved and flowed like it had been grown rather than built. But he was also terrified. In a few hours, he would have to convince 9 alien judges that human kindness was worth preserving. They gave the humans a small room to prepare their testimony. Zixtha sat with them, helping them understand Kethmori law and culture. The Council of 9 represents all 9 major species in this part of the galaxy, she explained. They will judge whether your actions threaten the cosmic order that keeps peace between species. What is this cosmic order? Dr. Voss asked. The belief that some beings are naturally superior to others? Zixtha said. That strength should rule weakness. That intelligence should command ignorance. That high birth should control low birth. Marcus shook his head. That's not order. That's just bullying with fancy words. Perhaps, Zixtha said quietly. But it is how the galaxy has worked for thousands of years. Then maybe it's time for the galaxy to change, Captain Rodriguez said. The next morning, they were brought before the Council of 9. Marcus had never seen so many different alien species in one place. There were tall beings made of crystal, floating creatures that looked like jellyfish, and others he couldn't even describe. High Arbiter Vexnor presented the case against humanity. These beings have disrupted the natural order by showing kindness to an untouchable. They claim this kindness is a virtue, but it is actually a dangerous disease that threatens all civilization. Then it was Marcus's turn to speak. He stood in the center of the great hall and looked up at the 9 judges. Your Honor, Your Honors, he began, not sure how to address them. We are accused of showing kindness to someone in need. If that is a crime, then we are guilty. Some of the judges made sounds of disapproval. Marcus continued. But I ask you to consider this. What if the natural order is wrong? What if judging people by their birth instead of their actions is actually the thing that threatens civilization? Explain, said one of the crystal beings. On our world, we tried the caste system, Marcus said. For thousands of years, we told people they couldn't be more than what they were born to be. And you know what happened? We wasted the talents of billions of people. We ignored brilliant minds because they were born to the wrong families. He pointed to Zixtha. This person is incredibly intelligent. She understands technology better than most of your engineers. But your system wastes her abilities because of her birth caste. How many other brilliant minds has your society thrown away? Birth determines worth, one of the judges said firmly. This is the foundation of all civilized society. No, Doctor, Voss said, standing up. Worth is determined by what you do, not where you come from. We've seen Zixtha's intelligence and creativity. Your system calls her worthless, but she's one of the most capable people we've met. Zixtha looked shocked that Dr. Voss would defend her so strongly. High Arbiter Vexnor spoke. These are pretty words, but they threaten the stability that has kept peace in the galaxy for millennia. What if that peace is built on waste and suffering? Captain Rodriguez asked. What if there's a better way? Marcus had an idea. Your Honors, may I ask Zixtha some questions? The judges agreed. Zixtha, Marcus said, the ship we found you on, did you help design any of its systems? Zixtha looked terrified. Answering. Could mean death for admitting to working above her caste. Tell the truth, Marcus said. Part 2. Cultural revelation. Marcus couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the alien girl's golden eyes and her strange reaction to his help. It was 3 in the morning on ship time, but he found himself walking back to the medical bay. Dr. Voss was still there, checking her computers and watching the sleeping alien girl. Any changes? Marcus asked quietly. Her body temperature is normal now, Dr. Voss replied. But Marcus, I've been running tests on her blood. This is incredible. Her DNA is completely different from anything we've ever seen. She's not just from another planet, she might be from a completely different part of the galaxy. Marcus looked at the girl. She seemed so small and peaceful under the white medical blanket. His emergency thermal blanket was still clutched in her hands, even while she slept. The translator has been working all night, Dr. Voss continued. It recorded everything she said before she passed out. I think we're going to learn some very interesting things when she wakes up. As if she heard them talking, the alien girl's golden eyes slowly opened. She looked around the medical bay with confusion, then saw Marcus and became very still. Hello, Marcus said gently. How are you feeling? The girl made soft clicking sounds. The translator worked quickly now. I am alive. You saved me. Of course we saved you, Dr. Voss said kindly. That's what people do when someone needs help. The alien girl sat up slowly in the medical bed. Her golden eyes moved from Marcus to Dr. Voss and back to Marcus. People help strangers? Marcus and Dr. Voss looked at each other. What kind of question was that? Yes, Marcus said. When someone is hurt or in trouble, we help them. It doesn't matter if we know them or not. The alien girl made rapid clicking sounds. The translator struggled to keep up. This is not possible. You are clearly superior beings. Your ship, your technology, your clothes. But you helped me. You touched me. With your own hands. What's your name? Dr. Voss asked gently. I am. The girl paused and made careful clicking sounds. I am Zixtha of the Kethmori Collective. Zixtha, Marcus repeated, trying to say it correctly. That's a beautiful name. I'm Marcus, and this is Dr. Voss. Zixtha's eyes became wide again when Marcus said her name. You spoke my name. A superior being spoke my name. Zixtha, Dr. Voss said carefully. Why do you keep calling us superior beings? And why are you so surprised that we helped you? Zixtha looked down at her hands. For a long moment she was quiet. When she finally spoke, her voice was very sad. I am from the lowest caste of my people. The Kethmori Collective has 5 castes, 5 levels of people. I am from the 5th caste, the bottom, the untouchable caste. Marcus felt confused. What does that mean? It means, Zixtha explained slowly, that higher caste people cannot touch me, cannot speak to me unless giving orders, cannot eat with me or live near me. If a higher caste person touches someone from my caste, they can be punished, sometimes even killed. Dr. Voss gasped. That's horrible. People are people. It doesn't matter where they come from or what family they're born into. Zixtha looked at her with amazement. But that is how all civilized species work. The strong rule the weak, the smart rule the stupid, the high-born rule the low-born. This is the natural order. Not for humans, Marcus said firmly. We believe all people have value. We judge people by what they do, not by what family they were born into. Zixtha stared at Marcus like he had said something impossible. But you have great technology. You travel between stars. You must have a caste system. How else can you organize society? We do have different jobs and different skills, Dr. Voss explained. But the person who cleans our ship is just as important as the person who commands it. Everyone has worth. Zixtha was quiet for a long time. Then she asked, "Why were you on my ship?" "We saw it was damaged," Marcus said. "We came to help whoever was inside." "Even though you didn't know who we were?" "Especially because we didn't know who you were," Dr. Voss said. "If someone needs help, we help them. It's that simple." Zixtha made a sound that might have been crying, but different from human crying. My people have been watching your species for many years." Marcus and Dr. Voss looked at each other with surprise. "Watching us?" Marcus asked. "Why?" "Your species appeared in space very suddenly," Zixtha explained. 50 years ago, you had barely left your planet. Now you travel between stars. The Kethmori Collective has been studying you to understand how you advanced so quickly." "And what did they decide?" Dr. Voss asked, though she wasn't sure she wanted to know the answer. Zixtha looked very sad. "They decided you are dangerous. A species that advances so fast, it threatens the natural order. The Collective has been debating whether to make contact with you or destroy you before you become too powerful." Marcus felt a chill run down his back. "Destroy us?" "But now," Zixtha continued, "now I have seen something impossible. I have seen superior beings show kindness to an untouchable. You gave me warmth when I was cold. You carried me when I couldn't walk. You spoke my name like I was a real person." "You are a real person," Marcus said strongly. "Caste or no caste, you're a person who deserves respect and kindness." Zixtha began to cry again. "In my whole life, no one from a higher caste has ever touched me willingly. When the ship was attacked and everyone else died, I thought I would die alone in the cold. Then you came. And you wrapped me in warmth like I was someone worth saving." "What attacked your ship?" Dr. Voss asked. "Pirates," Zixtha said. "Space pirates attacked us 3 days ago. They killed most of the crew and took everything valuable. They left me alive because taking a fifth caste person as a slave would be more trouble than it's worth." Marcus felt angry. "That's terrible." "Where were you going?" Dr. Voss asked. Zixtha looked ashamed. "To a labor colony. I was being sent to work in the mines for the rest of my life." "What did you do wrong?" Marcus asked. "Nothing," Zixtha replied. "I was born fifth caste. When I turned 20, all fifth caste people are sent to labor colonies. We work until we die." Dr. Voss shook her head. "That's not justice. That's slavery." "It is the way things have always been," Zixtha said. "For thousands of years, this is how the Kethmori Collective has worked. Each caste has its place and its purpose." "What if someone is born in the wrong caste?" Marcus asked. "What if someone from the fifth caste is really smart or talented?" Zixtha was quiet for a moment. Then she said something that surprised them, both. "Sometimes. Sometimes that happens. But it doesn't matter. Caste is decided by birth, not by ability." "That's wasteful," Dr. Voss said. "Think of all the smart people your society ignores just because of their birth." "Yes," Zixtha said quietly. "It is wasteful." Marcus noticed something in her voice. "Zixtha, are you smart? Did your people waste your talents?" Zixtha looked at her hands again. "It doesn't matter now." "It matters to us," Marcus said. "What did you do before they sent you to the labor colony?" After a long pause, Zixtha said, I fixed things, machines, computers, energy systems. I was good at understanding how things work." Dr. Voss smiled. "An engineer, just like Marcus." "You're an engineer too?" Marcus asked with excitement. "I was not allowed to be an engineer," Zixtha said. "Fifth caste people cannot have professional jobs. I worked in maintenance, cleaning and fixing things that broke. But I learned by watching. I understood the systems better than most. Of the real engineers." Marcus leaned forward. Zixtha, that ship you were on, did you help design any of its systems? Zixtha looked nervous. I cannot answer that. Why not? Because if I helped improve the ship, it would mean I was working above my caste. That is punishable by death. Dr. Voss gasped. They would kill you for being too smart. They would kill me for pretending to be smart, Zixtha corrected. Fifth, caste people are not supposed to be intelligent. Marcus felt sick. What kind of society punished people for using their brains? Suddenly, alarms started ringing throughout the ship. Captain Rodriguez's voice came over the intercom. All senior staff to the bridge immediately. We have incoming ships. Marcus and Dr. Voss looked at each other with worry. Zixtha, Marcus said urgently. Could those be your people? Zixtha's golden eyes filled with fear. If they are Kethamori ships, you are all in great danger. Why? Because you saved me. You touched me. You treated me like a real person. To my people, you have committed a great crime. And worse, I have contaminated you with my presence. Dr. Voss frowned. What does that mean? It means, Zixtha said with terror in her voice, that they will want to kill all of us. The alarms kept ringing as Marcus and Dr. Voss stared at the alien girl they had rescued. Their simple act of kindness had apparently made them enemies of an entire alien civilization. Through the walls of the medical bay, they could hear crew members running to battle stations. Whatever was coming toward their ship, the Horizon's Edge was preparing for the worst. Marcus looked at Zixtha, who was still clutching his thermal blanket. We'll figure this out, he said. We won't let anyone hurt you. Zixtha looked at him with amazement. Even now, when I have brought danger to your ship, you still want to protect me? Especially now, Marcus said firmly, outside in the dark. Of space, the Kethamori ships grew closer, bringing with them a confrontation that would test everything humans believed. Part 1. The Rescue. The alarm bells rang through the Horizon's Edge like angry metal birds. Marcus Chen dropped his coffee mug and ran toward the bridge. His boots made loud sounds on the metal floor as other crew members rushed past him. What's going on? Marcus asked as he reached the control room. Captain Rodriguez pointed at the big screen in front of them. We found something, Marcus. Look at this. Marcus looked at the screen and felt his heart jump. There, floating in the dark space between stars, was a ship. But it was not like any ship he had ever seen. It was long and thin, like a silver needle. Strange blue lights flickered along its sides, but many of them were going out. It's damaged, said Dr. Sarah Voss, the ship's doctor. She was already putting on her spacesuit. The hull has big holes in it. Whatever is inside, they might be dying. Marcus nodded. As the chief engineer of humanity's first colony ship, he had seen many broken things, but never an alien ship, never something from another world. How long has it been out here? He asked. Hard to say, replied Lieutenant Kim from her seat at the computer. But the energy readings are very weak. Maybe hours, maybe days. Captain Rodriguez made his decision quickly. Marcus, take a team over there. See if anyone is alive, but be careful. We don't know who built that ship or why it's here. Marcus felt excited and scared at the same time. Humans had been traveling between stars for only 20 years. They had found empty planets and strange rocks, but never other people from space. This was the first time. I'll take Dr. Voss and 3 security guards, Marcus said. If there are survivors, they'll need medical help. 10 minutes later, Marcus floated through space in his suit. The alien ship grew bigger and bigger in front of him. Up close, he could see that it was beautiful, but also very damaged. The metal was smooth like water, but big pieces were missing from the sides. There, Dr. Voss said through the radio. That hole is big enough for us to enter. They flew through the hole and into the alien ship. Marcus turned on his bright lights and gasped. The inside of the ship was amazing. The walls curved in ways that felt natural. like being inside a giant shell. But everything was broken. Pieces of metal and strange glass floated everywhere. "The air is gone," said Sergeant Mills, one of the guards. "Whatever happened here happened. Fast!" They moved through the ship carefully. In the first room, they found 3 aliens floating near broken computers. Marcus had never seen anything like them. They had blue-gray skin and were tall and thin. Their faces were long with big eyes that were now closed forever. "They're dead," Dr. Voss said sadly. "Probably died when the air escaped." They found more dead aliens as they searched the ship. Marcus felt sorry for them. They looked peaceful, but he knew they had died afraid and alone in the dark. "Wait," Dr. Voss said suddenly. "I'm getting life signs from that room ahead." Marcus felt his heart beat faster. Someone was still alive. They pushed through a damaged door into what looked like a medical room. It was bigger than the other rooms and had strange beds along the walls. Water floated everywhere in small drops. A pipe in the ceiling had broken and was still leaking. "There," Sergeant Mills pointed with his light. In the corner, a small figure was pressed against the wall. It was another alien, but this one was different. Smaller. Younger, maybe. And alive. Marcus moved closer and saw that it was a female. Her skin was covered in small scales that looked like tiny mirrors, but now they were blue from cold. She was shaking very badly. Her large golden eyes looked at Marcus with fear. She was completely wet from the broken pipe. Water covered her body and made her shake even more. Marcus could see that she was very cold and getting worse. Without thinking, Marcus started to take off his emergency blanket. It was a thin silver sheet that could keep people warm in space. "Marcus, wait," Dr. Voss said. "We don't know if she's dangerous." But Marcus was already moving toward the alien girl. She tried to move away, but she was too weak and cold. Her golden eyes were wide with fear, but also something else. Surprise. Marcus knelt down in front of her. Very slowly and gently, he wrapped the warm blanket around her shoulders. The moment the blanket touched her, she made a sound like nothing Marcus had ever heard. It was like clicking and whistling at the same time. The alien girl's eyes became even wider. She looked at Marcus like she couldn't believe what he had done. Her clicking sounds got faster and louder. "The translator isn't working," Dr. Voss said, checking her computer. "I can't understand what she's saying." Marcus didn't need a translator to understand fear. He had seen it enough times in emergency situations, but there was something else. In the girl's eyes. Not just fear, shock, like Marcus had done something impossible. "It's okay," Marcus said in a soft voice, even though he knew she couldn't understand him. "You're safe now. We're going to help you." The alien girl kept making clicking sounds. Her hands touched the blanket like it was made of magic. She looked at Marcus, then at Dr. Voss and the guards, then back at Marcus. "We need to get her to our ship," Dr. Voss said. "She's hypothermic. Her body temperature is too low. She could die." Marcus nodded and very carefully put his arms around the alien girl to lift her. The moment he touched her, she made the loudest clicking sound yet. It was so loud that Marcus could hear it through his helmet. Then something strange happened. The girl became very quiet and still. She looked directly into Marcus's eyes through his helmet. For a moment, neither of them moved. "Marcus," Dr. Voss said urgently, "the translator is starting to work. It's learning her language." The alien girl's mouth moved, but only soft clicking sounds came out. The translator made beeping noises as it tried to understand. Marcus lifted the girl gently and started moving toward the exit. She felt very light in his arms, and she had stopped shaking so much. But her golden eyes never left his face. They made it back to the horizon's edge quickly. Marcus carried the alien girl to the medical bay while Dr. Voss prepared her equipment. The girl was very quiet now, but her eyes moved around the room, taking in everything. Dr. Voss started checking the girl's health with her medical scanner. "Her body temperature is very low, but she's alive. I think she'll be okay." Marcus stood. next to the medical bed where they had placed the alien girl. She was still wrapped in his emergency blanket, and her golden eyes were still watching him. "The translator is working better now," Dr. Voss said, adjusting her computer. "It's learned enough of her language to understand basic words." The alien girl's mouth opened, and soft clicking sounds came out. The translator beeped and then spoke in English. "Why? Why did you—" She stopped and made more clicking sounds. The translator tried again. You are higher being?" Marcus frowned. "Higher being? What does that mean?" The girl made more sounds and the translator worked harder. You touched me? Willingly?" Marcus looked confused. "Of course I touched you. You were cold and hurt. I wanted to help." The alien girl's eyes became very wide again. She made rapid clicking sounds that the translator couldn't keep up with. "I don't understand," Marcus said to Dr. Voss. "Why is she so surprised that I helped her?" Before Dr. Voss could answer, the alien girl made one more soft sound. The translator caught it clearly this time. You touched me willingly?" Then her golden eyes closed, and she became unconscious. Dr. Voss quickly checked her scanner. "She's okay, just exhausted. But Marcus, I think we've stumbled onto something big here. The way she reacted to your help, it wasn't normal surprise. It was like you had done something impossible." Marcus looked down at the sleeping alien girl. She looked peaceful now, but he couldn't forget the shock in her golden eyes when he had simply tried to help her. What kind of people, Marcus wondered out loud, are so surprised by kindness? Outside the medical bay, the horizon's edge continued. Through space, carrying its human crew and their first alien visitor toward an uncertain future. None of them knew that this simple act of giving a warm blanket to a cold stranger would soon change everything for both species. The alien girl slept, wrapped in Marcus's blanket, while her ship drifted empty and dark behind them. But she was not as alone as her people believed, and the humans who had saved her were about to learn that some acts of kindness can shake entire civilizations. End of Part 1.